A warm welcome to you here on TV News this hour on TV Sapiencia. The top stories today. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed deep sorrow over the death of the former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, describing him as a statesman whose legacy of diplomacy and commitment to bilateral cooperation will be remembered. President Donald Trump on Sunday yesterday said that the United States would send Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine to help fight off a Russian invasion as his relations with Russian President Vladimir Putin soured. And in sports, Cole Palmer scored 2 goals and yet another as Chelsea stunned Paris Saint-Germain in the final of the Club World Cup last night, beating the European champions 3-0 at MetLife Stadium to win the first edition of FIFA's new competition. My name is Chioma Victor. Welcome, the news in full. We begin with the death of the former president of Nigeria, where India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed deep sorrow over the death of the former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, describing him as a statesman whose legacy of diplomacy and commitment to bilateral cooperation will be remembered. In a condolence message shared via his X handle today, Monday, Modi said he had fond memories of his meetings and conversations with Buhari, highlighting the late leader's wisdom, warmth, and his unwavering support for stronger India-Nigeria relations. Buhari, who died in London, served as Nigeria's military ruler from 1983 to 1985 and later as a democratically elected president from 2015 to 2023. Buhari's remains will be laid to rest in Naira today, Monday, according to Islamic rites. Still on the death of the former president, the National Assembly has announced the suspension of all legislative duties and activities following the death of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who passed away in London, United Kingdom, on Sunday. The rescheduling of the plenary date was announced in a statement signed by the clerk to the National Assembly, Kamara Ogunlana, today, Monday. Ogunlana stated that the leadership of both the Senate and the House of Representatives has directed that all plenary sessions and related activities be suspended until Tuesday, July 22. He also explained that the decision was taken in honor of the late president's legacy and service to the nation. Buhari, who served as Nigeria's head of state from 1983 to 1985 and later as a democratically elected president from 2015 to 2023, died at the age of 82. Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in London on President Bola Tinubu's directive following the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Shettima. He actually arrived London on Monday morning, that's this morning, in company of the President's Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabamila. He was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, and Borno State Governor, Babagana Zulum. Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President of Media and Communication, Stanley Nkwacha, disclosed this in a post today, Monday. That's early morning. President Tinubu announced the passing of his predecessor, who died on Sunday in London at approximately 4:30 p.m. He directed Vice President Shettima and Gbajabamila to proceed to the United Kingdom to accompany Buhari's body back to Nigeria. Buhari, who was 82, served as Nigeria's democratically elected president from 2015 to 2023. He also served as military head of state between January 1984 and August 1985. Tinubu has ordered flags to be flown at half-mast as a mark of respect for the departed leader. Buhari's remains will be laid to rest in Naira Monday today, according to Islamic rites. And still on that story, President Bola Tinubu has summoned an emergency session of the Federal Executive Council scheduled for tomorrow, Tuesday, July 15, 2025, in honor of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died in a UK hospital yesterday, Sunday. Tinubu disclosed this in a heartfelt tribute he personally signed Sunday evening, shortly after the news of Buhari's passing broke out. The president confirmed that Buhari will be accorded full state honors. The president said The late Buhari's passing filled him with profound sorrow and a heavy heart, adding that Nigeria has lost a patriot, a soldier, a statesman. President Tinubu assured Nigerians that the federal government would organize a funeral that reflects Buhari's towering contributions to the country and prayed for Allah to grant him eternal peace. We'll take a break right now and when we return on the news, the Nnewi Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, in collaboration with the Anambra State Ministry of Industry, has hosted the 2025 Nnewi Economic Summit. These and other stories will come your way after this timeout. Kindly do stay with us. Welcome back to the news. We beam our searchlights on Nnewi, where the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, in collaboration with the Anambra State Ministry of Industry, has hosted the 2025 Nnewi Economic Summit. The summit was designed as a platform for strategic brainstorming on how to build an inclusive, competitive and sustainable economy for Nnewi and to harness the ingenuity of the people by leveraging the town's industrial strength to develop a framework that supports innovation, infrastructure, workforce empowerment and environmental sustainability. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo, represented by the Commissioner for Industry, Mr. Christian Udechukwu, emphasized his administration's commitment to human capital development, describing the people as the state's greatest asset, and also stressed the need to digitalize the Nnewi market for improved efficiency and global relevance. Speaking at the summit, which brought together top industrialists, entrepreneurs and business leaders with the theme Repositioning Nnewi for Sustainable Economic Development, Chairman of the occasion, Dr. Ngozi Ukachukwu, and Chairman of the Planning Committee, Engineer Vincent Ejike, underscored the importance of restructuring Nnewi to reflect its status as an industrial hub of Anambra State and called for collective efforts to transform the town into a model of economic sustainability. Away from that story, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, has called on the federal government to intensify efforts in addressing the nation's security challenges while urging the media to uphold ethical standards and patriotism in the discharge of their duties. This call was made during the Guild's 2025 biennial convention held in Enugu, themed Nation's Security Future, Harnessing Diversity for Peace/Stability and the Media's Role. The high-profile event featured key stakeholders in the nation's security and media landscape, including the Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, Chairman of Channels Television, Dr. John Momo, and Director General of the State Security Service, Mr. Adeola Oluwatosin Ajayi. In a communique issued at the end of the convention and jointly signed by NGE President Mr. Eze Anaba, the General Secretary Mr. Onoha Uke, the Guild emphasized that national unity and peace can only be achieved when the government and the media embrace Nigeria's diversity as strength. Away from that story, President Donald Trump yesterday, Sunday, said that the United States would send Patriot air defense system to Ukraine to help it fight off a Russian invasion as his relations with Russian President Vladimir Putin soured. The weapons delivery will be part of a new deal which Trump says will involve NATO paying the United States for some of the weapons it sends to Ukraine. When he first returned to the White House in January, Trump insisted he could work with the Russian leader to end the war, but grew increasingly frustrated as Russian missiles continued with no ceasefire in sight. U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg is due to begin his latest visit to Ukraine today, Monday. Trump also said he would meet NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte today, Monday, when he previously said he would make a major statement on Russia. Away from that, we move to sports. Cole Palmer scored 2 goals and made another as Chelsea stunned Paris Saint-Germain in the final of the Club World Cup last night, Sunday, beating the European champions 3-0 at the MetLife Stadium to win the first edition of FIFA's new competition. Palmer opened the scoring midway through the first half and struck again to make it 2 on the half-hour mark, before taking advantage of passive defending to set up Joao Pedro for the third on 43 minutes. It was a scoreline that few could have predicted as Chelsea capped what has been a long but memorable season. They are the first ever winners of the 32-team Club World Cup having also won the UEFA Conference League and finished fourth in the Premier League. They also will take away around $125 million in prize money, meaning that the prospect of a drastically curtailed summer break before returning for next season will surely feel worth it. For PSG, meanwhile, the financial rewards are similar, but there will be a genuine disappointment at falling short of adding this title to their Champions League triumph and French League and Cup double. There was a real sense of occasion at the MetLife Stadium with the backdrop of the Manhattan skyline and with President Trump in attendance along with First Lady Melania Trump in a crowd of 81,118. There was even the first ever halftime show at a FIFA tournament, adding a Super Bowl feel to a final played at the home of NFL sides, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. I believe congratulations are in order to Chelsea. Well, that's it on the news. A quick reminder of our top stories. We told you that the Indians' Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed deep sorrow over the death of the former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, describing him as a statesman whose legacy of diplomacy and commitment to bilateral cooperation will be remembered. President Donald Trump on Sunday said the United States would send Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine to help fight off a Russian invasion as his relations with Russian President Vladimir Putin soured. And in sports, Cole Palmer scored 2 goals and made another as Chelsea stunned Paris Saint-Germain in the final of the Club World Cup on Sunday. That's last night, beating European champions 3-0 at MetLife Stadium to win the first edition of FIFA's new competition. But that's it on the news this hour. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Chioma Vic Chukwemeka. Do have a great time. Happy Monday and have an interesting week ahead of you. Good afternoon from here.